excited to jump right in.
It's so beautiful. I know that we're just gonna get it. It's gonna be juicy today. Thank you for joining me here. So let's just say, everyone, this is Catherine. That's our usual Catherine, and her business is called Raw Edge. So your feed is full of this spicy energy, and I love it. So first question is, tell us about what you do and how you came to start your business.
Okay, well, so I'm very much into the living foods lifestyle. It's just something that I heard about, and it made a lot of sense to me. It was very appealing to me. So I just started doing it. This was all the way back in 2008, and I just jumped right in and started learning about it. And one of the things that came very clear right away was that people were asking me questions about it, like, where do I get my protein, and how am I getting calcium if I'm not drinking milk? And I didn't know the answers to these questions, so I went out to find the best education around that I possibly could. And I ended up studying with doctors Rick and Karen Dina, and they were teaching a live class at the time at a place called Living Light Culinary Institute. So I went there and I studied in person with them for a few weeks, and I learned all about the science of raw food nutrition. And what I came out of that with was just so much confidence. So I knew how to answer the questions that people were asking me, and it also made me feel more confident about what I was doing. So fast forward over the years, I just kept learning about raw foods. I got certified as a raw food chef because I wanted to be really good at making the food and all of the different preparation methods that you can use to make the foods fun and creative and more presentable and more appealing for people, and also myself.
So this is what sorry to interrupt, but this is what I could see. So I'll confess, I don't know hardly anything about raw diet living and a lot of the zone that you're in. But one thing is your feed was beautiful, colorful. Like if we eat with our eyes, and I'm an aesthetic, like visual person, I was like, oh yeah, that's like full of texture, color. Really, yeah. It looked very, there's a better word for it than palatable, but like happy palate is what I really mean, right? Happy taste, happy mouth.
Yeah.
The other thing I was gonna say from your story so far, I was taking a little notes to remember this data point. 2008 to me seems early in the movement. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I certainly have seen the movement progress, and I've seen it go through stages. Right. At first, when I started, there was not a lot of material available for the lifestyle. I remember going to the library to find books on raw foods, and there just wasn't any.
Right.
Back then. Yeah.
So I love talking with businesses who are actually in a like early to the space kind of place, right? It's like so fun to be the one that knows things that people don't know. And yet the challenge can be people are still like, huh, what? Like sometimes you're just still bringing people in where like the zeitgeist has not yet made it a buzzword or, you know, familiar household word. So you've ridden through that whole wave, and now you're right in the thick of it. So
yeah, I've seen that, and there's and I think there's a lot more people now that are at least aware of the lifestyle. You know, they're at least aware of it. So it has progressed a lot. And there's a lot more information available out there now around raw foods.
Yes. Yeah. So this is just perfect because I mean, part of why I think it's notable is like, this is your moment to shine, right? You were there first, and now people are like, oh yeah, haven't you been talking? You know, like it's just a perfect time to sort of harvest the field you've been tending all these years, you and your whole colleagues, the Culinary Institute people, I'm sure they're still growing too, right? The
Right.
followings.
Yeah. So during this time, from when I first started learning about it all the way up until about 2020, when I really went, full all in, it was just a progression, right? So I gave birth to a couple of kids. I had life events,
Check,
you
check.
know,
Birth.
yeah, and like how so. But I that experience was very rich though, because I got to learn like how do I incorporate this lifestyle in with important things like pregnancy and breastfeeding, and like because it matters, it all has to do with your body, and like how do you adjust and account for things like that. But I was also, I was doing the raw foods, but I was also kind of going back and forth between, like, I was in vegan cooked foods at that time, and heavily processed. So, so I'll say that I had the experience of, over time, just like slowly gaining weight until it became to a point where it was very uncomfortable for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had, and then I also, as a result of that, I got inflammation, and I got really bad shoulder pain in my joint. And it was so bad that, they were kind of passing me around from doctor to doctor. They were throwing pills at it, which it didn't resonate, coming
Yeah.
from a background of,
Like,
yeah, exactly. So I was like, but I really wanted the pain to go away. And, I did physical therapy, but that just agitated it. And then finally, a specialist gave me a steroid shot right into my shoulder. And those needles are like really long and scary.
Yes.
So yeah, but finally the pain went away. And so I was very grateful for that, because it gave me a chance to breathe. But then a few weeks later, the pain came back. And then so that's what brought me to my crossroads moment. So that was in late 2020. And at that point, I mean, I couldn't even work. I was on disability for 3 months. And I mean, how scary is that, right? Because I'm also a single mom.
Right.
So I'm at home with my 2 kids during a pandemic, and I'm on disability and in pain and can't do anything. Also, I was overweight. I was uncomfortable. I didn't have the confidence that I wanted. I just didn't feel good about myself. Like I didn't have energy. I didn't want to get up and do anything, or like get dressed up, because I just knew I wasn't gonna look good the way that I wanted to look. So
and everything sort of spirals on itself too, right?
It does, yeah.
Body not feeling good, or just this central, I'm just was really, you didn't feel comfortable. Like it's as simple as that, but it means everything.
It does, yeah. It's very core. Yeah, so the crossroads moment really was, it was like, okay, it just became so clear in that moment where I was looking down one path, and I was like, okay, well, this is going to be a lifetime of constantly going back to get these shots in order to feel normal, right? And it was like, or, the other path before me was, hey, I've been studying and learning about raw foods this whole time. I know what to do. I know how to do it. Why am I not doing it? So I decided in that moment, I was like, I'm in a drastic position, and so I needed to do a drastic measure to balance that. So I actually went on a 49-day juice fast. And I only did juices for 49 days. And
almost 2 months.
Almost 2. I remember that I ended it exactly on Halloween of 2020 is when it ended. So so what resulted from that was that the pain in my shoulder completely went away. It completely went away.
Within the 49 days?
What's that?
Within the 49 days.
Within the 49 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like almost, not overnight, and I'm sure it didn't feel like that in the moment, but like in the arc of the years of discomfort and how long people search for remedies. It's
Yeah.
pretty fast.
Yeah, it was such a blessing. It felt so good to do that. I'm so thankful for having that experience. Very
Yeah.
grateful.
Yeah.
And I did release a lot of weight during that time as well. But it was a comfortable amount. You know, it wasn't too drastic. And I think that's because like I really put the time in to do it the right way, and to make sure that I was still getting the calories and the nutrients that I needed to keep myself up. So I
Yeah.
had plenty of energy.
That's
Yeah.
great. We're
Yeah.
getting so many fun friends joining. I love it. Can I just go back in the comments
Yeah,
where
please
people
do.
just
I
say
see Annie. Hi,
hi?
Annie. Annie has been in some of the raw food communities with me. We have a mentor that we share in common. So hi,
Oh,
Annie. It's good to
Annie.
see you
Hello,
here.
Annie. Join in and put in comments and questions, whatever you want to bring up into our conversation. All is welcome. Thank you. So do you mind if we shift to what is your greatest joy in your business? Because I'm hearing the story of your, I'm going to call it joy, your transformation,
Yeah.
right? Where you were like, ding, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
So then you start this business
Yeah.
because, sorry, I didn't let you fill that in, but I can only like imagine that it's, what do you call it? Like it just comes out of you. It's like magnetic what's happening to you. So people are like, tell me more.
Yeah. The absolute most greatest joy for me is when people that I'm working with get onto this lifestyle path and start feeling the results for themselves, because everybody's going to experience it in a different way. And the information is out there, like anybody can do this. But it really comes down to like, how are you going to make this work for you in your life? So my greatest joy is when I see that reflection coming back from people that that they are experiencing the joy, and that they're experiencing this energy and this joy in their life and their body, and they're like being turned on to the lifestyle. And that for me is the greatest and the best.
Yes.
It really is. And one of the things that I mean, there's so many things I love about this lifestyle, but it doesn't include products. There's nothing you have to go out and buy. It's simple. It's vegetables, it's fruit and vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
and making that work.
It's the classic, is it Michael Pollan, who says you should just do things that you can pronounce, that your grandma would have known about, these nothing with too many syllables and vowels in them.
Right.
Yeah, the ultimate. Thank you. Yeah, I can just picture some of your transformations in your clients. So I didn't, sorry, let you talk about that. You're coaching now, right? You're coaching clients that are coming to you wanting similar pain relief. Is it mainly that they're coming with those kinds of complaints, or who's coming?
Yeah. So I'm focusing on weight release, and also just relief from like things like body aches and pains, because I think that's where it really shows up the most.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you, those are just kind of side effects of the overall picture, where really you just need to get your body more streamlined. You have to have your body working better, because then it's connected, like you were mentioning earlier, it's connected to everything. Yeah. But the weight, the reason to focus on that is because it's just the most visible. It's the most visible thing, and it's the most measurable, right? Because you can weigh, you can measure that. It's easy to weigh. And also it's connected, for a lot of people, I mean, I can say for myself, it's connected to how I felt about myself, and, things like confidence and, and things like that. So,
right.
So yeah, so those are the two things I focus on, but it's also heavily related to just your overall level of energy. Like if I could advertise this lifestyle and just say how good I felt, Like,
Yes.
I want everybody to feel this good. I really, really do. But it's
Yeah.
harder to advertise for that. So,
Right. It's harder to measure. But
yeah,
also, I mean, some of what I talk about as a business coach is that it's our job to keep connected with our mission and with
yeah,
the not just the head mission, but the like the joy, the light, the real reason inside. And I think it's, I mean, that's the thing. It's maybe harder to talk about in words, but you recognize it when you're in that zone, right? And like to me, I say like your shit's just straight. It's like you're lined up. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
like you're taking care of your self-coaching, you're taking care of the stories that might block you to just be, right? Because
sure.
your how good you feel is coming through right now. You don't even need
Absolutely
words.
good. I'm so happy to hear that. Good.
Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like we
Mhm.
all humans have this superpower to like know things like that without words, which is so awesome if we can tune into that part of us. So
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right about
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so we can trust in that. So this brings me to the business challenge I asked you to bring today.
Okay.
What would you say is the like one of your bigger business challenges at this moment? Because I just see like all cylinders firing. So it's great to know. And part of why I like to bring it up is like even people very clear and very on fire have a place. We all have a place that's like the thing that we need to talk to. and, and
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah.
Well, I think at first, you know, I knew that what I was doing was really amazing, and I knew people needed to see it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to take pictures of my food. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so that's something I've been focusing on, learning how to get better at, you know, getting better at the equipment, you know, but I still don't want to overdo it. So it's like finding that balance,
Yeah.
and also just finding my eye with the photography. So that has been something, and then also, you know, just learning about the other mediums and ways to get that information out there. So I've been learning about, you know, how to put together YouTube videos to make a clear message, you know, and have the imagery that will, you know, accompany that message in just that beautifully synergistic, perfect way. Um,
So
yeah,
in
and
general, I think you're talking about messaging, like how to get
yeah,
out there beyond. And it sounds like probably so far what's been easy coming to you besides that is just word of mouth, people that know you. Is that right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if all that I had to do was talk to people about health and lifestyle path all day, like this would be a walk in the park. Like I would just do that.
Yes.
But it's bringing in all these other aspects of, okay, wow, now I need to learn how to like make pages and link them to things, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. They're a little bit of a struggle for me.
Yes.
Um,
Well, so here's let's see. My a couple questions. What is in your mind for say like your top two ways, two like streams you want to get into? Because I'm hearing you say YouTube and
mhm.
photography, so I'm just guessing those photos are going to one of these social media places.
Yeah, like social media platforms,
Do you have like
Instagram.
Instagram or TikTok or
I don't
any-
have a TikTok, but I think I'm gonna. I just started an account. I think I have like one video in there right now. So, but
no.
I have it on the list.
Nice. Well, so
Yeah.
this is great because this is at least where I like to start is um, kind of like how you customize for every person's lifestyle. Like they're not going to eat every, this would be a good idea ever talked about, right? It would, you say, I know that's overwhelming. Let's just start with one thing that you love. So this is always my advice. Pick the thing that feels the most um, like, ooh, I have fun hanging out there. So like for me, that's Instagram, which is why we're here today. I just like the visual of it. I honestly want to hang out here. So I don't feel like I gotta do my marketing here. I Oh, I wonder what everybody's doing. I'm learning so much from these people. Like I am actually like living like the person that I'm wanting to attract. So that's
Right.
like kind of a key piece, right? Like just go and be almost like be the client also, because here's what I'm learning also is that we are all mirrors of each other, and it's safe to co-create and not be like, I know everything, you need me, right? Like that. It's really like I'm demonstrating my power so you can demonstrate your own power. We're sitting in my own power so you
Yeah.
can come from your own power too. So those kinds of sort of magical things, like in a way it's like, what, really? And also just like the energy piece, right? The like I feel good piece, like just we just get to like go what toward what feels good, which I think is simple.
Yeah.
Maybe not easy, but simple. So like,
Yeah.
does YouTube or TikTok or Instagram feel, I'm just using those, like is there one that's like I just have fun there, like that's
Yeah.
really fun? Which one
Yeah.
is
Well, I mean, like I have gotten a lot more comfortable with Instagram. And like I remember when I did not know how to create a reel at all, right? And just getting used to where the buttons are and like,
yeah.
things like that. But I've gotten more familiar with it to a point where like, oh my gosh, this is fun now. It's fun to put together a reel of like what it looks like. I want to show people what it looks like when I'm putting together my salad and like pouring the dressing on and things like
Yeah,
that. I want to like get
yeah.
really in there with like this is what this lifestyle actually looks like. So
Well,
it's a
and
lot of fun.
this pouring the dressing on, I mean, I remember I watched that one. I was like, yes to that, right? Like and you don't, it's hard to know what's going to be in my head. You don't know, right? What is going to be. But all for sure know is what you would be drawn to.
Right.
That for me is, I mean, I'm guessing that you probably get a little tingle when you pour that on your salad. Do you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Oh
Like a
yeah.
little like ooh, this looks, finished. Like, but that's the key to follow, right? That's like follow your nose to
Yeah,
those
absolutely.
things.
Yeah. And I mean just in like my everyday life, I mean like yesterday I was making watermelon juice and
Mhm.
and then so I'm thinking to myself like how like this looks so good to me. Like how can I like I don't know, film this and present this, you know?
Yes.
So and I have a lot of watermelons left, so I think I might get to a reel like that. Just a little.
You know why? That means that you showed up at the market with intention of watermelon juice, right? You're like, it's not just one watermelon juice. This is going somewhere.
This is going down
This
for
is going
days.
down. Yes, exactly. We're going to have fun with it, and it's going to be so good. You're not going to be like, what should I do now? You're going to be like, ooh, what's next?
I
Like,
cannot wait to show
let me
this.
search.
Like,
Yeah.
who doesn't like
What?
watermelon juice?
I mean, you are a certified chef. So this is the other part, right? You get to just trust what has been baking in you since 2008 or more.
Right,
And
right.
you show up to that watermelon and you say, I know what feels tingly for my head, or my heart or my whatever tingles when you're happy for you.
Yeah. Well, what really hits the spot is when something is so undeniably delicious
Yes.
and at the same time you're consuming it and I'm consuming it and I'm thinking, wow, and this is good for me. This is delicious and it's really good for me. Like this is the best of all worlds right here.
This gets right into, if you don't mind, what I love to call the win-win-win.
Yes.
Like this whole business thing has been like hypnotized as this like win, lose, take, give. It's not. It's never been.
Yeah.
That like what we have to offer is a win for someone else. What they have to offer us is a win for us. It's like co-creating, and the world is the third win.
Yeah.
Everyone in that client's world who gets a happier them and a happier you. I mean, I could
Yeah.
have 4 wins, but just that it just gets to be almost like the vortex
Yeah.
of lift,
Absolutely.
instead of this like, I'll trade you this for this,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. It's like, nope, we're all going up.
It's all a win-win-win. Right. So as I've been going along this path, I've been paying attention to, some of the objections that I hear about the lifestyle. And
Okay.
so in some of my content, I'm trying to address those things.
Yeah.
So one of them is, well, it costs too much. So I put together a video. It's on YouTube right now. I put together a video talking about, like, hey, this is how you make this work.
Yeah.
The secret is really you buy in bulk and you use in bulk, and you get discounts that way. So I put together a whole video on how to do that, and then suddenly the lifestyle is completely affordable.
I
Right?
love that.
Yeah.
Can I take it to another level?
Sure. Yeah, please
Is
do.
the community buying in bulk together gets
Oh,
to be
yeah.
exponential too, right? Not only buying power, but like, hey, let's all do this together. Like, I don't even have to know how, why. Doing it together is always better. I mean, if it really aligns, then how much, I mean, to me, that's just inherent fun.
Yeah.
Again, another win, another way that what we want to do is going to be good for us gets to be fun, extra
Yeah.
fun. So like juice making party.
Yeah. So we're
Processing
gonna save
watermelon.
money, and
Yeah.
we're gonna feel good.
And we're gonna feel good. And none
Yeah.
of us are gonna be like on our own, saddled with too much of any one thing. Right? Like it won't be
Right.
like, oh, I guess it's watermelon month. It'll be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what's next? That was a great watermelon week or day or whatever. And
Exactly.
you just keep it rolling and new and fresh. Right.
Absolutely.
I'm dreaming that dream for you.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing it like in some, I don't know, I just pictured it like outside in a cul-de-sac or somebody's like yard where people are just like prepping and like, how many blenders can we plug in here today? And everybody brings their jars and gets to take something home. It could be so fun.
Yeah,
Almost
absolutely.
that. Maybe that's why I pictured it. I have a cul-de-sac right there. I have a front yard. Come to my house.
Okay, so the plan, May, is we're gonna open up your garage. We're gonna send a truck over to the produce terminal. We're gonna buy all this bulk vegetables and fruits. We're bringing it all to your house.
Yes.
And then we'll have all the neighbors come over.
Front yard,
and we're gonna divvy it up.
I just pictured the backing sounds, burp, burp, rolling, and then watermelons tumbling into
watermelons, bananas. We're gonna do kale. We're gonna cover the whole spectrum.
This all works for me. It's a dream. Honestly, this is like communal anything, lifting each other up in a way like fits my dream. So let's
perfect.
Gosh, that was really fun and exciting. Here's how I love to end. I mean, we could keep talking, but I was trying to keep it so that this is like a digestible bite, to use a food metaphor.
Sure.
of conversation. What is a great way for people to connect with you if we want to know more, if like a next step to connect? What would you like?
Perfect. Okay, I'm so glad you asked that. So something that I've really focused on when I'm putting together all of this information is that I need the lifestyle. For me, I needed the lifestyle to be fast and simple. So I needed recipes that I can just throw together with few ingredients that taste great and are going to, cover the palette of everything I need, and I'll be able to play with them. So I put together an ebook, and I want to give it away for free. It's fast and delicious recipes for a sexy summer body. Um,
Sexy summer body.
yeah,
I want that.
yeah, I know. Who doesn't want that, right? So yeah,
Well,
so these
and
are, they're fast, they're few ingredients, and you have three different recipes to choose from, and I put information in there like how to get more variety and change up these recipes as well, and just to make them your own, right? Because you have to make it work for you, right? So
yeah.
so I included all that information in there, and it's free. So the link is in my bio, and if you go to my Instagram profile, you can go
Okay.
ahead and follow the trail there to get your free copy.
That's great. So I'll just make sure that when I post this on my page, and one of our people said, Rise AUM said, please save this later, save so we can watch later. Yes, it will be there. And I'll just make sure that
That's Angelo. Thanks, Angelo.
I'll just make sure I put your
Awesome.
link in the maybe the link tree or something like that.
Okay.
So it's clickable. And Jesse's asking a hard-hitting question, I'm sure. Jesse,
Yeah,
our friend.
go for it.
And doing a raw food where it's self-sustained, where the effort became easy. Ooh, thank you, Jesse.
Yeah. Okay. So the answer to that is to come up with it. It's basically a concept called your fallback five. And
Mm,
so what that is that it's just it's five recipes that like the back of your hand, that you can just walk into your kitchen and make without looking at a recipe.
got it.
Yeah, that's really the point where it becomes easy, because at that point, like, you're hungry, you don't want to open up a book or be looking things up. You just want to be
Right.
like, what's in the kitchen, how can I eat
Yeah.
right now? And that's how you do it.
You know
Yeah,
what
and actually the ebook is really going to help with that, because
yeah.
I'm presenting these recipes that they're very diverse, right? So you can do different things with them, and they're simple, so you can apply them. They're very easy to learn.
Yeah. I
Really
just
great question.
imagine,
Thank you, Jesse.
thank you, Jesse. As you were talking, I just imagined in my mind like this whole system just rolled out because it I just pictured like, okay, you don't know yet. You're gonna pick five. Just five. You don't be
Yeah,
overwhelmed. It's just five. And that you can just keep changing it. I just pictured like five post-its on your fridge and
exactly.
practice
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah,
And then the beauty that I could picture from there is you're at the grocery store. This also solves the grocery store, like, what am I planning for this week? Because
yeah,
nobody does that. It's not fun. You don't want to be there all day and like researching recipes while you're in your cart. Like, so
exactly.
like, oh, I already know what I need. I need a truck full of watermelons from May's front yard from from the juicing party that we're going to. Anyway, no, I'm just saying, but that they know this five, right? That I always have kale. I always have whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and just get in there and try the recipes. Find what you love,
Yeah.
right? When you find what you love, then it's easy to be like, okay, I know what my ingredients are that I always need to have on hand. And it's a place to start. So you can start there.
Yep.
Then you're always covered, at least, right?
Yes.
And then over time it just becomes so natural that you're like, okay, I'm doing this. And then it becomes more easier to branch out and be like, okay, now what items can I incorporate to bring in now more variety, right? So you can start focusing on that.
So great. My systems head is like so I was an architect before, right? So I just like in my head just saw like a whole cloud of and then which I'm sure you already did. But
Oh, it
it's
keeps going. I
exciting.
promise you it keeps going. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Really fun. Really, really fun to think about. And I could have my whole like part two when we talk again. I had all these questions that I was like, ooh, I want to learn about this for my own body. And I want
There
to
is
tell you
so
like,
much juicy questions that we can get into. We can talk about microgreens and how densely nutritious those are. They're just so impactful. I'm growing them myself here in my kitchen. It's so easy. And then we can talk about probiotics and fiber and how all these things contribute to like your optimum health.
Yeah.
And that's where you want to be. That's a win-win for everybody. If you can be in your optimum health, you can better serve others.
Yes.
When you are in your optimum health.
Well, and you get to have more fun when you're having fun, right?
Yes.
Like you actually do the thing that you're like, oh, I always dreamed of vacation. You're going to actually feel even better when you get to finally do that thing. Right. So yeah, it's all good. I'm in a phase of thinking menopause, thinking aging, thinking like end of life. I don't want to be a cranky pants. I want to be like that delightful crazy lady that just says whatever the fuck she feels like it. I'm now. So like that all has to do with like I feel good in my body.
Yeah.
Very basic. So
well, this lifestyle, I can speak from experience, it certainly affects feminine cycles.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In a very positive way. Totally. And of course, yeah, I could rant all day about that, but that could be part 2 or 3 or whenever next time we talk. I do feel like you're up for it. Let's record another conversation. Let's do it. Yeah, there's so much more to say. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for joining us. Really fun to have all your people in the room, some of my people in the room. Mike Waters, hello. And yeah, do click on the bio and you're going to get that ebook. Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I have beautiful photos of the finished product and everything in there. So check it out.
Love it. Let's keep talking. Thank